Never miss an episode of the Final Furlong podcast. Subscribe now on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. And now, here's your host, Emmet Kennedy.
Welcome along to our Friday preview. We've got Group 1 action at Newmarket, and the gang's all here. Adam Mills from Total Performance Data, Andy the Nap Newton. He did it again. He talked me off a winner on Saturday, and he ended up napping that horse. But it's okay, all is forgiven, because the very next day... Darius, 12 to... Another double-figure priced nap for Andy the Nap Newton. The man's just insane. George Gorman, of course, back in the winner's enclosure again last weekend. And one of our favourite guests, Liam Firkin, returns to the podcast from the Ginger Joe Sports Show. And, of course, some excellent content with Odds Checker as well. Where are you coming to us live from today, Liam?
Stuttgart in Germany. Emmet. It's the first time, as I mentioned backstage, that I've had to make my bed behind me before actually coming on a podcast. So yeah, I'm in Germany currently.
International podcast, the Final Furlong. Hit a like on this episode. If you haven't already, smash the subscribe button as well so you never miss an episode. Let's take you through the 115. It's the 5 Furlong Newmarket Academy Godolphin Beacon Project Cornwallis Stakes. Tim Easterby won this race in 2020 with Winter Power, who went on to win the Coolmore and Godolphin Stakes, and he runs her sister Revival Power, who's won her last 2 starts and looked a potential Group 1 performer last time out. She showed a lot of speed on her last 2 starts. She does have to concede £2 though to the Colts as she carries a penalty for that Doncaster Group 2 win. Aidan O'Brien's Kansas, who won later at Dundalk and might be fancied by one of the team. Very close to her that day, but was 3 lengths behind stable companion Brussels in a Group 1 last time out. Brussels has been sent off favourite for a listed contest, went second to the Smart, the Secret Adversary, over 7.5 furlongs, maybe a trip that stretched him, and for the big sales race at Doncaster behind Calendar Girl. Drops in class for a Group 1 after being second last time out to Wise Approach, and comes into this in the back of a career best effort. He is favourite. Does he deserve to be? Adam Mills.
At the weights, yeah, he does deserve to be. Revival Power's probably achieved more, but Brussels, I think they've got the right trip now. They've got the right jockey on board. Last time, if you actually watched that race, he could almost have called him the winner at the furlong pole, and then Wayne Lorden decides to pick up the stick. The minute he picks up the stick, Brussels jinks to his left, loses all momentum. Then he goes again. A length defeat to Wise Approach is the best form on offer in this field. He's trained by the second greatest trainer in the world. I can't see any reason why he won't win this. And I looked at this and I thought, as much as I like Revival Power, I'm not taking it back. I like Revival Power, but still 2 as well. Just put me off enough. I think Sumion will be the making of Brussels under these conditions, and I think he'll win. Do I really want to steam into him at 11 to 8, bearing in mind he's been beaten his last 4 starts? Maybe not, but I don't particularly want to oppose him either. The other one at a massive price would be Chairman 4 times, who hit the line really well at Ayr. I think Chairman 4 times will improve, but Adrian Keatley's record at Newmarket is pretty poor, 1 from 20. I don't think Chairman 4 times is capable of getting to Brussels level, and if he runs his race, he should win.
Andy Newton, are you in agreement?
I wasn't yesterday, but I am now. I think Brussels, yeah, I mean, look, it was leading probably, a furlong to go in the middle park. That track experience at Newmarket, whereas, Revival Power having its first run here, we don't know 100% if the track's going to suit. It'd be interesting to see though, because they both obviously, going to boot out and could cut each other's throats and set it up for something else. Like a finisher or whatever. That finisher might be Spicy Marge, course and distance winner as well, and actually beat Revival Power. I should probably mention that. Spicy Marge, beat Revival Power 3 races ago at Goodwood, and is actually better off at the weights as well. So that's probably the interesting one if there's going to be a bit of a springer, but Brussels won on debut, and that's his only win so far. But it has been running in, like Adam said, in much better races than this, and just that track experience. I think Aidan's only won this once before, and the other things to sort of pull out. Appleby's never won it. He's got that Beckford's Folly gelded after its last run, so we'll see. That'll probably be better back on the turf after sort of flopping on your weather last time. But Brussels all the way, mate. For me, yeah.
Okay, Brussels 6 to 5 is the current price about Brussels with a number of firms, including 1xBet. George Gorman, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, pretty similar, to be honest. The only thing I'd really add with Brussels, obviously, anyone can see he's well in at the weights, had that great run, the Group 1 last time. But even like with Zavateri, he was in front, collared late home. With Secret Adversary, he was in front, headed late home. Even against Calendar Girl there, sort of made progress into second about the 1 pole and lost a couple of places late on. The drop back in trip, like his breeding wouldn't necessarily say it's what he wants, but it looks on how he's running like the drop back in trip will suit. Even the last day he was collared close home. Like he's not only well enough at the weights at what he's done, he could potentially improve for dropping back in trip as well. Like it's worth bearing in mind. But he'd be the main one. And it might be a bit mad, but I think India Love is way too big a price for one bad run. Like I know dead heated to win the handicap off 84, but you take out the last run where she stepped up in trip on soft ground and run those sort of races. I think the trainer said afterwards about the soft ground basically being the undoing of her. But if she was coming into this off 3 wins in a row, even rated 86, she wouldn't be 50-1, would she? Like, I think it's a big overreaction in the market. It's a competitive race. I'm not saying she's nailed on to finish in the first 3 or anything like that, but I'd probably have a small bit on her place only just because it'll be a wild price.
You know who's going to love that? Friend of the show, Kia Jabraken, who's hanging out with Georgia Cox at Tatterstall's sales this week. Interesting, George. Very interesting. Liam Firkin, your thoughts?
Yeah, I think the lads have made a decent case for the favourite, and I think that Brussels may well be difficult to beat. But I'm willing to take a chance on one further down the field. If you look at Argentine Tango, who's available around about 25-1, form figures over the minimum trip reads second, first, second, and some of that form has worked out particularly well, finishing 1.5 lengths behind Venetian Sun, who's obviously gone on to do what that horse has gone on to do. The last day, people may point to the fact that Revival, obviously Easterby's other runner in here, battered him essentially in the last day when he was 8th and 5 lengths behind Revival Power. However, he was unbelievably inconvenienced on that showing, met a load of trouble in running, and essentially didn't run the race. So dropping back to the 5 furlongs where he's been seen to better effect, really eye-catching jockey booking with O'Sheen in the plate. Definitely, I'm more than happy to throw a few quid each way at Argentine Tango at a big price for Tim Easterby, who, as you mentioned, Emmet, has got a decent record in this. Yeah,
very much so. You will get 20-1, but 1xbet, no problem at all. Although you might just cause a snowball effect now, Liam Firkin, given the fact that you're in form and you can influence markets. It's a Revival Power for me. I really like Brussels. I think he's interesting, and obviously Edna Brown has won the race back in 2018. But the fact that this horse's sister, Winter Power, won the race back in 2020, I think bodes very well for her, and she won in a really quick time at Doncaster the last day. Sprinters in form tend to be horses you want to side with, and I think this is a horse who could be a Group 1 performer next season at the top level. I was foolish enough to go against her at Doncaster and side with Mission Central and Aidan O'Brien horses, one of my most confident bets of that week, and that did not work out well at all. I can't quite understand how we're getting such a big price. I understand she's a filly and she has to concede weight to the colts, but she's improving fast, and hopefully she will improve enough to be able to go and win another big race, just like her sister did back in 2020 for the same stable. So 7-2 about Tim Easterby's horse. Revival Power is the one I'm going to side with. And if you're placing a bet this weekend, consider 1xbet. You can join 1xbet Ireland right now and receive €30 in free bets if you bet €10 after your first wager, 18 plus. Only terms and conditions apply. 1xbet.ie for more information. Your second race of the afternoon is the 225 at Newmarket. It's the Thoroughbred Industry Employees Awards Challenge Stakes. It really rolls off the tongue, that name title. The favourite for this one is one of Georgia Cox's top 10 juveniles to follow for the rest of this season and with a view to next season as well. Calendar Girl, who was really, really impressive in that sales race under the now injured Safi Osborne. Colin Rodriguez takes over for the first time. A joint favourite with another one of our favourite horses, Classic Curvy, who's a sister to the 1,000 Guineas winner and triple Group 1 winner for David Watchman, Legatissimo. She's got form with Xanthos, who beat her on debut by 3 lengths. That's a breeze-up horse who then has gone on to win the Rockville Stakes, and she was really good at Doncaster last time out over this trip when she beat Amelia Earhart. Admittedly, that horse has been beaten subsequently, but she was sent off favourite for a Group 3 when she was beaten, and she was very, very well backed, getting Christophe Soumillon for the first time that day, and she's a beautifully bred Coolmore horse, and Classic Curvy had a little bit too much for her, and she showed great guts and determination. I would probably side with Classic Curvy, but I could easily swing back to Calendar Girl. Are you with either of them, Adam, or is there something else you like?
No, I think I'm going to take him on. As much as I admire the Doncaster, I just feel like there's a bit of track experience here that will be key. I nearly tipped Blingy's sister, because if you were part of the gamble on Blingy's sister at the Curragh, my goodness, your luck must have been out that weekend. Pummeled in from 14s to 2-1. Dylan Brown at Monaco could get no room whatsoever in the big sales race, and when he finally did switch wide and make a challenge, it was too late. obviously Blingy City's got a lot of talent, but this is quite a deep race. I think the race could be between Mubasima and Shady Dame. They finished 1-2 in a really good maiden here last time. Mubasima had the stand-side rail, which at that meeting was a massive advantage. On my figures, I'd have it about 4-length advantage to have the stand-side rail. The way they're drawn this time, Shady Dame could reverse this. So I'm going to take an each-way flyer on Shady Dame. She is a maiden. She's only had one start. There have been 20 maidens to run in this since 2005. 3 of them managed to win. But stall 10 is the key figure. There have been 9 horses to come out of stall 10 in this race. 4 of them have won. So I'm going to take a chance and a bit of a flyer on this one for the Gosdens at 12-1. I liked the way that she made good late ground in that maiden at Newmarket. She's got experience of the track. I think she'll come on for it. James Doyle's drawing the right side of Mubasima, so I'm kind of hoping he gets a bit of a target to aim at. But I texted Emmet this morning and said, this race is mad. If you backed every single runner in the last 20 years for £1 on all of them, you make a profit. That's how difficult this race is to try and work out. The average SP is 9.7-1. It's just such a mad race that I'd be annoyed at myself to take a favourite. So I'll take an each-way chance on Shady Dame to take a big step forwards.
Dan won a Group 3 and is related to a horse who won 6 figures for Aidan O'Brien called Drumbeat. Shady Dame for James Doyle and Jonathan Gosden at 12-1 shot. Andy Newton, who do you like?
Yeah, stall 10 won last year, but we go back beyond that, and 5 of the last 6 have been just 3 or lower. So there is something else to go on there, and I'm sort of happy to go with the 5 of the last 6 in terms of the draw personally, and that does bring Calendar Girl and Classic Cuvee into it. Calendar Girl, it's definitely going to improve for the step up in trip the way it finished last time. Obviously Brussels running well in the previous race is going to. Have we got the right time here, by the way? Is it the 150 on the ticker?
Yeah, no, it's the so sharp. What?
Yeah,
150.
that's just in case people get confused, like when they're looking at it. I don't know if we've missed the race or whatever, but
apologies.
Yeah,
for those of you watching on YouTube, you may have been confused, but you're too smart to be confused by my stupidity.
Getting confused, but Calendar Girl is definitely going to be popular. Step up in trip and all that as well. Draw 2's fine, but I think I'm with you, Emmet, with Classic Cuvee. I mean, look, Buick's got quite a good record in this. He's won 3 of the last 10. Varian's won 2 of the last 8, and actually Buick has teamed up with Varian in 2008 to win this as well. So they're back together again. He's got a super strike rate, Buick. With his 2-year-olds at the track, and I just thought. Last time quite gutsy at Donny when it beat that Amelia Earhart, stuck her neck out. The only other interesting one is Varian's got another one a bit further down, that Coming Attraction, which look, it bombed out last time at Ayr. You can probably put a line through that. That was on soft ground in the Group 3 there. But before that, it beat this Blingy sister who Adam was talking about quite comfortably at Chepstow on good ground. So as long as there's no more rain, that Coming Attraction looks a very good price at around 12s to me, but I do think Classic Cuvee is going to be. I mean, it could be let's go Varian 1-2 here. Classic Cuvee to beat his other one, Coming Attraction. All right.
Forecast.
Just go for it, mate. Yeah. It could be like my old school teacher, right? He used to say about the 3 simple C's: courtesy, cooperation, and common sense. Right. And we've got 3 C's here: Classic Cuvee, Calendar Girl, and Coming Attraction. All right. Bang, let's have the tri-cast. Let's not mess around with Falk. Right?
Andy.
Yeah.
The Nap. We had 3 double-figure priced winners on the most recent podcast, by the way. The most recent preview podcast. Gel Pepper was 14-1. You and I had Darius, 12-1. And Peter Michael napped the winner of the Final Furlong podcast with 1xBet handicap, won by Daniel McLaughlin. Syzygy. Don't ask me who he's picked as the winner, by the way. We'll announce that tomorrow, and that's completely up to Peter Michael to decide who wins. We might have to do a virtual draw.
Well, there was about 200 comments on there, wasn't there? He's going to have to sift through.
That's why I'm not picking it, baby. That's why I'm not picking it. So we'll announce the winner tomorrow of the competition. But well done to everybody for entering. But three double-figure price winners, not to mention all the other winners that went into. Okay, Andy Newton swinging for a forecast in a race that Roger Varian has won twice in the last 8 years. Who is George Gorman going for?
Yeah, I'd be similar to Andy. Like, I've got a lot of respect for Calendar Girl, and like the reasons that she would she would improve here are fairly obvious. Like the return to 7 furlongs. The Song of the Clyde didn't do a whole lot to let the form down at listed level next time out. It's but Coming Attraction is just keeps looking at me. I just think she's way too big a price there. And crucially, for regular listeners of the podcast, have you seen what her dam's called?
No, what is it?
I'll wait for Emmet to see it.
Oh no, not you.
Yes, I can hear you, Clem Fandango.
Almost need to tip it just for that, but I'm very much in agreement with Andy and pretty much
George.
everything he said there.
George, can you hear me?
Yes.
George, it's
Yes,
Clem
I can
Fandango
hear
here.
Clem Fandango.
Did you know that the dam of this horse is Clem Fandango?
I did Clem Fandango. Thank you very much.
If you watch that show, you'll get that joke.
But yeah, look, the soft ground, it was obviously a step up in class the last day, but like the soft ground for some of these, especially like a 2-year-old filly, can be a bit much to ask. Again, it's similar to the one I said last time. You take that last run out, it's not a 12-1 shot here, and I think we can put a line through that last run. So it's just more my sort of bet to just go Coming Attraction, probably at the each way price here. Especially, I didn't realise Roger Varian had such a good record in this race, so that'll help as well. But it'd be Coming Attraction for me.
Liam Firkin.
Yes, obviously both George and Andy are in one camp. I'm firmly in the same camp as Adam, and I think that Shady Dane can definitely reverse the form. That would be the one for me. I'm not just going to regurgitate and parrot exactly what Adam said. The only other thing I would add is the fact that the Gosdens have been in decent form, operating at 24% strike rate. If you dig into that a little bit deeper, they've had around about 8 horses who have also hit the frame over the course of the last week, because I know that Andy Newton likes to dig into the statistics when it comes to strike rate. So, but if you dig a little bit deeper, most of the horses have run into form, albeit they have had a couple of beaten at short prices. But yeah, I would be more than happy to throw a few quid at Shady Dame each way along with Adam.
Damn. Okay. So 2 going for a big priced horse. It's Classic Curvy for me. I'm all over Classic. I really like Calendar Girl. She's a horse I like an awful lot, but it's a big step up from a sales race, and I think that Santos form is really quite good. So Classic Curvy for me, for a trainer who's got obviously a fantastic record of the race. We'll go to the 225 at Newmarket. My beloved Cosmic Year, who I was super confident was going to prove everybody wrong on his next start, now gets the opportunity to do that. He's going to be a 7-4 shot, though, because Marvel Man has come out of the race for the Thoroughbred Industry Employee Awards Challenge Stakes, the Group 2 over 7 furlongs. So in the absence of Marvel Man, Cosmic Year becomes favourite for Colin Keane and Harry Charlton, 7-4. Bovadier gets a first-time tongue-tie and comes to this race instead of having competed at Paris Longchamp, which I find interesting, Adam Mills, because for the last 2 years he's been placed on Arc Weekend. He was 3rd to Rosalien in the Prix Jean-Luc Lagardère, and he was 3rd to Ramatuelle over 7 furlongs last year in the Prix Forêt. Why did they skip the Forêt and come to this race instead?
Probably because it took him so long to finish the race at Haydock, they didn't have time to go back to France. I don't... Look, this is the right trip. I like the 7 furlong trip for Bovatier, but I can't back the horse on the back of that run at Haydock. Maybe he was on the wrong side of the track. Maybe I'm being a bit harsh, but I just thought that was such a rancid run. Cosmic Year is probably the best horse in this race, but eventually he's got to show it. And with the exception maybe of his second place finish in the Irish Guineas, I'm kind of struggling to be wowed by this horse who started the season with such a massive reputation, and he hasn't yet delivered it. Poet Master is definitely interesting. He should have won that race in France. He really should have done. He was in front and he just drifted to his left, and he let Mickey Barcelona and Rochefort have a run at him, and they got him done. But Rochefort didn't exactly advertise that form in the Forêt at the weekend, so it's kind of messy. I don't want to back Cosmic Year because I'll be annoyed at myself, because I think I've got doubts about how good he is. So I'm going to take a swing on Audience, who was 3rd in this in 2023. He's an... What? Look at the face being made by Andy Newton. How am I supposed to give a now?
The face on either side of you. My face was in shock and Andy was just laughing.
You're not alone, Adam. I put him up the last day on here, and
Andy's face was like I've been drinking or something. He's like, what is he on about? I know this is like a massive swing, but actually, He was third in the Lennox when he ran okay, and he ran reasonably well last time. Now, look, Marvel Man has battered him, but I feel like Audience was going okay. He's a bit nuts. He's a bit quirky. He's all over the place in terms of the way he runs sometimes. But this might just suit, because I think they might let him get on with it. And I kind of hope Rab Havlin will just go, you know what, we'll just point and shoot and see what happens. I was looking at this and thinking, surely everyone else is looking at Audience, hoping that Audience goes on. And you can get into a nice rhythm here. He's completely bonkers. It's obviously a win-only bet. But I've got doubts about Cosmic Year. I've definitely got doubts about Bovatier. I don't think Poet Master can run in a straight line. Rab Havlin could absolutely steal this from the front. So I'll take a chance.
Can you clarify something for me? Is Bovatier better on soft ground than good?
Bovatier is just inconsistent. I don't really think he won on good ground at Deauville. That was probably closer to good to firm, but then he's also run really well on soft. I mean, he ran in the champion sprint last year, finished fourth. He's versatile, but he's also a bit nuts, and that's my point. Really, is the race at Haydock should have suited. Yeah. And I know he was perhaps on the wrong side of the track, but he had the gap. I've watched the replay back. The gap was there if he was good enough, and he wasn't. So I'm not sure this small field is necessarily going to play to his strengths either. I think some of his best form has come in races where it's set up nicely for him. If you look at the end of last year, ran really well to finish third in the Foray, backed that up by finishing fourth at Ascot. But instead of running in those Group 1 races, they've decided to come here for a small field. Just kind of reeks of like a bit of desperation to get him back to form. So I've just got no interest in him as second favourite.
Yeah, that's the thing. If he's trading at 6-1, he becomes a very interesting price. But
yeah,
at 100 to 30, and maybe the first time tongue tied does the business, he's got to give £2 to Cosmic Year, and he won't do that. Cosmic Year is going to win this race, Andy. The question is by how far?
I'm not sure. I mean, look, the French won it last year, didn't they? With that Top Gear, who's even named after a Jeremy Clarkson fan or a drug dealer, one of the two. But I'm not sure they're going to do it again, to be honest with you. Look, this Bovatier, look, only one win in 12.
How long have you been working on that line, Andy?
I just come out of it. Come on.
Yeah, just off the dome.
That's taken me a week now. But look, one win in 12 for Bovatier, tongue tie on. Shocking run last time, and surely it wants softer. I mean, when you look back at its form, I mean, it has okay on better ground, but I think all its wins have been some kind of give, hasn't it? So, and look, I know the face for Audience was a little bit of an alarm bell, but I actually have got in my notes. It's one of those horses that's going to pop up at some point, isn't it? It is. It's just going to come up, and it's just going to go and maybe look. There's only 5 runners. There's question marks against pretty much all of them. And it didn't run that bad last time at Donny, like Adam said, just sort of the last furlong or so. And I know George put it up that day and it was quite a good shout. And it got backed, I think, because it was a lot bigger than 6s on the, when we did the podcast that day. So, and it's form on the Rowley Mile, 1, 2, 3. So we know the track's fine. Cosmic Year, I mean, it was given a bit of a shock at Rocker Ride last time, and I'm just not sure. I mean, even when the gap came, when the race was sort of done, it sort of looked like it was a bit scared or spooked or something, wasn't it? And I'm just not sure. It's had a fairly hard season, hasn't quite lived up to the rep that, it was, I thought it was going to do earlier in the season, but it has form on the track. So it's a tricky one. I'm going to side with Poet Master only because I just think it's the fresher of the bunch. It's only actually run twice this year. And, its last run, when Adam said, probably should have won in France, that came on very soft ground. It has form on all grounds, so it's fine. 7 furlongs is its trip. I think all its career wins have been over 7 furlongs. And it's, that last run in France was what, about 6 months or so after its only other run this year in March. So it's going to come on for that. These colours have been flying for us in the last 2 or 3 weeks. Burke's on fire, and I just think that looks of value to me, Poet Master.
Okay, 7-2 is the price you'll get with one expert about Poet Master for Carl Burke, who, as Andy said, has been doing us massive favours basically all season, but certainly in the last couple of weeks. George, who do you like?
Yeah, I think Cosmic Year should be the best source here, but a bit like Adam, certainly if he gets beat here, we've got to forget about him. I think he's not a betting prospect if he gets beat here. It should be better than both Atier and Poet Master. I think if he fluffs his lines, quite similar to Adam, I think Audience could be the one. Like it's a small field. He could get on the front end. He's had Quinault to contend with on his last 4 starts, is it? And despite that, managed to run all right at Doncaster and Goodwood. Everyone knows I don't believe in Dubai form. I just completely ignore it. And Ascot.
George, we've been invited to go out to Dubai.
Oh yeah. It's great. It's fantastic. it's great, but it's its own thing. It's its own thing, and it's very rarely translates to turf courses in England. And you're going back further than that. His last run last year is probably over the top, but he hung very badly left. He's running the City of York. He missed the break. So you're looking like the last time he had a clear chance to make the running and wasn't hanging all over the place and missed the break was when he won the Lennox. It's. I know you're going somewhere. You're making excuses for a horse's last 7 runs, but it's there, and this is his sort of thing. I can't believe anyone's going to take him on, and Rab Haviland's certainly the man you want on board to set the fractions. I'd just be a lot more comfortable having a small bet at 6s on him than a big bet on Cosmic Year at 2s. Do you know what I mean? I really like him to be good enough to win this Cosmic Year. I'd really like to see him get his career back on track, especially last 2 runs are on soft ground. This is on a sounder surface. The ground when he won at Newmarket on Guinea's Day is officially good, but must have been quicker than good. This should suit him down to the ground and he should win. But at that price, he's not for me. I'd much rather just have that little saver on Audience.
Okay. Liam?
I initially looked at Audience, as somebody alluded to a minute ago, the fact that he does just pop up and he will win races throughout the season. But then I wanted to start looking at generally where the pace might come from, which of these horses will want to go forward. Because if Audience doesn't go forward, he can tend to just spit his dummy out. And then you look at all the successes that the rest of the field have had over the course of whether it be this season or previously, and they all really want to be pretty prominent. So he's not going to get the easy lead off the front end. So my tip in this race is I'm not even going to watch it, Emmett. I'm going to go make a cup of tea. I couldn't care less. I think it's a rubbish race, and the contraction of prices from top to bottom is a nonsense. 2s at the head of the market, 6s at the bottom of it. Yeah, not one for me.
Now, some people might say Liam Firkin is sitting on the fence, but no, he's not. He's deliberately gone in with a 2-footed tackle on a race that you can hear live on TalkSport 2. And we've got out of our way to bring this race live to you because we were just going to do Chepstow. And then the producers went, hang on a second, we've got Group 1 racing at Newmarket. Ring up the boffins at Racing TV. Let's do a deal. Let's make sure we bring this to our listeners. And Liam stamps all over that race. But tune in to TalkSport 2 Friday afternoon. And here, Daryl Jacob and I bring you live coverage of Newmarket and Chepstow. I'm sure Liam will be listening in from Stuttgart with Zijama.
You heard it. You heard it here first. Liam has no interest in the Thoroughbred Industry Employee Awards. He thinks the work they do isn't worthwhile whatsoever.
Hates it, George.
As Gary Moore said in an interview recently. As Gary Moore said in an interview recently, it's easy work, really, isn't it?
yeah. Real easy work for those stable staff. Really, real handy work. So there you go. Liam Firkin officially against the Thoroughbred Industry Employees Awards Challenge Stakes. Doesn't support it. Completely against
Thoroughbred employees in general.
Yeah, he'll be off making a cup of tea, scoffing at it. If Cosmic Year,
I've changed my mind actually.
Don't go flip-flopping on us now, Liam. I'm interested in Bovadi, and if he wins the race, then fair enough. But Cosmic Year should win this. And I don't think he didn't go through that gap. I don't think he was ever given the opportunity to go through it. That's my opinion. Adam is going to send me a WhatsApp message now in a second going, calm down, keep going. Switch to the next race. Focus on the task at hand. All right. To the Group 1. The Fillies Mile, Group 1. We're over the mile, obviously. And Christophe Soumillon has chosen Precise, Group 1 winner last time out in the Moyglare on Irish Champions Weekend. And she is 7-4 with 1xBet. Legacy Link for John and Thady Gossam with the aforementioned Colin Keane on board for his retained owners. Judmont 3-1 after a good win last time out. Dance to the Music for Charlie Appleby, who won this race for the first ever time last year with Desert Flower, who would go on to Classic Glory 13-2. And Queen of Hawaii who was a good winner over Moments of Joy last time out and has won her last 2. She's a 7-1 shot. Moon Target steps up after being behind Xanthos the other day, and she'll appreciate this step up and trip. She's an 11-1 shot for Luke Morris, who won his 10th Group 1. On Arc Weekend, Adam Mills, who will win the Fillies Mile?
There's lots of potential improvers for the trip. I mean, Legacy Link was good, but it was just a Haydock maiden, and she had the very good advantage of being drawn in stall 1, getting to the front, saving ground. The Gosdens have won this 6 times. I could sort of see the improvement. Queen of Hawaii was good eventually. Took a while to get going. But the more I looked at this, the more it's obvious Precise has got the Group 1 quality form in the book. She's beaten Group 1 horses. Sumion's on. I don't want to take her on. I just don't. I can't. I just think everything else has got to find £7 or £8 to get to the level that she's already at. So, of all of the favourites this weekend, Precise is the one I'd be most confident about.
Oh, I'm loving that. Christophe Soumillon on board Precise for Aidan O'Brien. Andy Newton, your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, like the other day, Legacy Link was favourite, I think, for this about a day or two ago, and I was like, "How's that even favourite?" You know, like Adam said, Precise has got, Group 1 form in the book, and even that Haydock win, which visually was impressive, 2.5 lengths, but look at the form of that. The third beaten since, fourth beaten since, the 6th has been beaten since, even the 7th. Right, you go all the way down. Not one of them's come out and won, and I'm not even talking about coming second or whatever. They've not even been placed, I don't think, in the top 3. All of those 4 I've just mentioned. So very questionable form. Yes, look, Gosden and O'Brien have won it 6 times each, with the late great Sir Henry Cecil, I think. So if one of them wins, they'll become the outright on their own. So yeah, both got very good records. Joseph's won it 2 of the last 7 as well. He's got that Queen of Hawaii, and I think that is probably overpriced at around 10s. We know the trip's fine, but yeah, look, the way Precise finished last time in the Moiglet, it's surely for the step up in trip. And Group 1 form in the book is already getting backed. It's now clear favourite. It'll probably go off closer to even money, I would have thought, personally. The only other stat that probably rules out Dance to the Music is all of the last 21 winners of this race finished in the top 3 last time out, and obviously that was 4th in its previous run. So happy to rule that one out. Yeah, Precise all the way here, with Queen of Hawaii looking overpriced.
Okay, Queen of Hawaii was going to go for a sales race, so it's interesting that she didn't go for that and goes for the Group 1 instead. Maybe they just decided to give her a break. Maybe she had a slight setback. Perhaps they've just decided, look, she's too good a horse, let's go for a Group 1 instead of a valuable sales race. A horse who did run in a valuable sales race last time out was Composing, and she was sent off a ludicrously short price, really, with the benefit of hindsight. She was coming up short against 2 males. She lost out to Dorset and to the Ivan Furtado August George. She's too big a price here. I don't think there's a whole lot between her and Precise, and there's a genuine excuse for her defeat in the Group 1 Moigler Stakes. She was on the front end. I think she just did a little bit too much. If Wayne can get her a bit of cover, then 14-1 is too big a price about a daughter of Wootton Bassett who's been sent off favourite for multiple races and has been on the radar of the Final Furlong podcast since her debut run and has done us a few favours. So at 14-1, I'll take an each-way swing with her, but I'm with Adam in the sense that I think Precise is going to take a lot of beating, but these Aidan O'Brien fillies, they can pop up out of nowhere, and I don't think there's a whole lot between her and Precise. So I'll side with Composing to do as another favourite, 14-1, but 1x bet. George, you?
Yeah, well, look, Precise, yeah, it probably is the right favourite, but for us, it's going to be that's 7-4 and probably going to be sent off shorter. Would we not say Beautify and Composing coming out of a Group 1 have let the form down a bit next time? Like, for me, I think, like, I don't know. I'd like to see winners coming out that race left, right and centre, and then not, like, for the sort of price we're being asked to take.
It's a fair point.
And I think Legacy Link, I think Andy went into it, but the 3rd, 4th and 6th have all been beaten since. The highest placed horses to have run since are the 3rd, 4th and 6th. They've all been well beat since. Dance to the Music could well be the answer. There's just for Charlie Appleby, why has this horse been sent to Canada to try and win a Group 1 if she's good enough to win one over here? There's a little bit of that for me, because it does read very much like, as I've said on multiple horses recently on this podcast, the classic European story of going out there too slowly away, ran into trouble late on, stayed on. That might be the answer, but I'll be more inclined to go with Queen of Hawaii here. I think she's overpriced here for sure. Like that, she's come out on basically she's only won a maiden compared to some of these. Was it when she's won the maiden at Leopardstown. She's won the Group 3 last time out, and with just 3 runs under her belt, she's beaten Moments of Joy, who's already finished 3rd in the Chesham, and the Chesham has worked out reasonably well, whichever way you want to see it. Humidity has been placed at Group 3 and Group 2 level next time. Secret Adversary's come out and won a listed race. Like, that race has worked out a lot better for me. So for her to for Queen of Hawaii to come out and beat Moments of Joy with so little experience under her belt as just a maiden winner going into that, I think she could be open to a whole lot of improvement here. And I just think she's too big a price. I think Joseph O'Brien's obviously a very famous, very well-known trainer, but I think if she's in any of the silks of the first 3 in the betting, she's probably a couple of points shorter.
That's a very fair point, and I can't argue with it. What does Liam Firkin have to say?
I'm also with the Queen, but it's a different one, and she's towards the bottom of this market. I think the case that's been made around Precise is perfectly reasonable. But I was so taken by Amora Queen, who's available at around about 40, 50 to 1 as an each-way punt in this. She was brilliant on debut. Really not over the sort of trip that would see her to best effect. They're obviously throwing her into this Group 1. She won really well that day and beat a horse by 7 lengths, I think, called Just Call Me Angel, who's then since gone on to beat Calendar Girl, albeit in receipt of weight, on the next start. So, look, in the 150, if Calendar Girl goes and bolts up in that, then it will look even more attractive in terms of price. She gave long odds on back as a bit of a fright on the all-weather when stepping up to the mile trip the last day on the all-weather. I think she was sent off around about 2 to 7 and just got up winning by a head. But I think that this trip back on turf could definitely see her to better effect. Look, she's obviously got a perfect record. This is a step up, but she's been thrown in at the deep end for a reason. And I'm more than happy. And it's one of my more confident picks for Friday, if I'm perfectly honest, Emmet, in terms of one that I'd be willing to throw a good few quid at a big each-way price. So, yeah, Amora Queen at 50s for me.
Just to clarify, you're saying one of your most confident bets of the weekend, or for Friday at least, is a 50 to 1 shot?
When I say confident, I mean one that I'm more than happy to, that I'd be out. Put it this way, if it was a 1 point each way stake, I'd be more than happy to have a 1 point each way stake at this, at 50s, than I would something that I'm a little bit, that I'm not so keen on the 10s. Let's
go, Liam Firkin. Let's go. You'll get 50 to 1 with 1xBet. And if you're signing up to 1xBet Ireland for the first time, here's a great welcome offer. €10 bet, you get €30 in free bets to play with. 18 plus only. Terms and conditions apply. You can check out 1xbet.ie for more information. Bet 10, get €30 with 1xBet. We've got a handicap to talk about. It's the 3:30, the Old Rowley Cup. One of the teams said, I've got absolutely zero interest in this race. I studied it for ages. I couldn't find anything. Let's skip it. And then immediately, Andy the Nap Newton comes in going, ho, 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 ho. I got a couple for this one. Take it away, Andy.
Look, yeah, they're quite big prices. Look, Danger Man is probably interesting from the Gosden camp. You can probably, rule out its last run on soft ground, back on a better surface. Then that one is interesting. 8 of the last 11 winners of this had 9 stone or less. All right, so that actually knocks out. I know it's about 5, is it, at the top of the card? Danger Man being one of them. But I just thought it was interesting that there's a horse that actually beat Danger Man early on the season, called a bit further down in the market, called Minhad, which is trained by that Ismail Mohammed. And when you actually look at the weight and everything that it was, getting that day, it's actually something like £13 better off because they got a £5 claimer on, and it beat it. We know it likes the track because it was a course and distance win. It actually came here at Newmarket, so that's absolutely fine. And yeah, it sort of bounced back and it had a few funny runs since then. Ran at Ascot behind Amberlock, but last time it sort of bounced back and ran okay at Chester. So look, that one is a big price, and actually the yard have got a fairly decent strike rate. And then the only other one at a price is that Wine Dark Sea, only because the Harry Charlton camp are going okay, I think, at the moment. They've got a decent strike rate at the track as well. And yeah, I think it beat one of yours, George, that Gary's horse, Love You Back, a while ago.
Oh, right, yeah. I did see that when I was looking through this, actually.
Yeah, and that came out and bolted up, didn't it, at somewhere like Brighton or Epsom or somewhere since. So there is something to go on there. And as I say, I'm pretty sure Harry Charlton's got a fairly good strike rate. I know he's only, he's changed a name and this, that, and the other. Obviously, it was with his dad and so on. So he hasn't had loads of runners at the track. But I think he's still got a 40% strike rate of his 3-year-olds here. So anyway, yeah, look, Wine Dark Sea and Minhad, just at two at about 20-1, I think, both of them, yeah.
George, you have a pick?
Yeah, I'm slightly different on this. I thought Andy was going to reel off Danger Man there, but I'm definitely with Danger Man. I take the point that Minhad's £13 better off, but Danger Man's been a different horse since having blinkers applied. It was a good effort the last time, really, on soft ground, which wouldn't have suited. He was beaten by subsequent listed third, Sadad, who was only beaten a length in that listed race, and subsequent handicap second Alpha Crucius. I think that was behind that Carolean Bay. I think back on a sound surface, now up to a mile 4, given that he's by Cracksman, I think that makes him very hard to beat. And down the betting a bit, there's horse down, I think about 16-1 called El Sass, who's by Sotsas out of a Maxios mare. So it's like a stamina, dripping in stamina, really. And he's been staying on very strongly last twice on the all-weather over a mile 2. Earlier in the summer, he was narrowly beaten off a £3 lower mark over a mile 2 on the turf. So those last 2 good runs on the all-weather can't entirely be due to switching to the all-weather. I just think step up and trip will see him do better yet. Whether it'd be quite good enough to beat Danger Man, I don't know, but it'd be an each way sort of selection. But Danger Man very much one to beat for me.
Anything on your shortlist, Liam?
Yeah, so I go from a 50-1 selection to an absolute scumbag each way bet at 9-2, and Munsif is the one in here for me. Obviously, after the gelding operation and the hood being applied the last day, managed to get his head in front. There's a fair few in this field that are coming up a couple of class divisions, and I think potentially maybe found out. I think Munsif's a decent bet each way, as I say. Bit of a muggy punt, but I'll be happy to play him as a muggy each way bet in this for Shadwell.
Okay, the weight would worry me, particularly with Andy Newton's stat, but Alan King won this race a couple of years ago, and Daiquiri Bay has got decent form behind Merchant at Royal Ascot. He's still just a maiden after 7 runs, but he's run some nice races at Royal Ascot, at Glorious Goodwood. I think this is a race that can suit him. He may not be good enough to win it, but at least he can run a massive race to place. I'd say he's going to be a horse that'll probably pop a hurdle at some point and give them a bit of fun, but he might be able to go and run a big race in this one. I'd love to see John Barry's Double Meaning run a big race too. He probably won't be good enough to win it. He was beaten at Ascot the last day, but it's a great story. Ex-Charlie Appleby horse. He's turned him around very, very quickly. He's been a wide margin winner on the all-weather twice, and be quite some story if he was to go and win at Newmarket as well on a valuable handicap. But I'll take a chance on Daiquiri Bay for Alan King, whose yard is going well. One more to talk about at Newmarket before we give you a little bit of National Hunt action. We'll talk about the Group 3 to round off the card. Weird that a Group 3 ends the day, 4:45. The Newmarket Pony Academy Pride Stakes. There's absolutely no way that Liam Firkin can say anything negative about this race, given it's the Newmarket Pony Academy. The Pony Academy. Surely Liam's going to be all over this race. But we don't have any prices as things stand. And we've got all your old favourites, including somehow last year's Derby runner-up Ambiente Friendly, now down to a mark of 94. Is this the moment he bounces back, or is he just gone? Adam Mills.
Well, the screen I was looking at, one firm have got him at 80s. I'm all right, thanks. I think I can just leave him in the current form. This is a tricky race because sort of Falakaya and San Gazelle both have the potential to be better than this level, but they've both got to show it, and they're kind of sort of on recovery missions. I thought like the slightly dirty each way bet here was Skellett. Ralph Beckett won this race last year with Lady Boba. Skellett's form in the Atalanta Stakes is really good. Finished third. The second and the winner were fourth and second in the Sun Chariot Stakes. The fourth, Cajole, won a listed race at Ascot. Fifth was Bright Thunder, who plays in the Group 3 next time. Skellett was given a lot to do that day, a lot to do. And hopefully this day will get a slightly more aggressive ride from Colin Keane compared to what Hector Crouch did last time, but I think the form has worked out nicely enough. And I just thought Skellet is going to be in the first three. If Valakai or San Gazelle improve past her, so be it. But I think it's a pretty solid. I'd be very surprised she's not in the frame.
Andy Newton?
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting the hood's going on that Valakai. I mean, look, it went off short, didn't it? 5-2 for the for the coronation. I mean, and it is on a bit of a comeback. So, and like Adam said, it could bounce back, and that's absolutely fine. But I'm actually 100% with Adam here with Skellet. I mean, I thought that run was decent last time. It's only had 2 runs this year, so will be more to come. Step up in trip, looks like it's been crying out for that. You know, it was doing its best work at the finish. I mean, when you look back at that race. About a furlong to go. It's probably about 7th or 8th or even 9th maybe, and it just literally bang. So up the stand downhill that day. We know the track's fine because it came second by a neck on this card. I think last year. That was in soft ground, but it's got form on all sorts of ground. So yeah, look, Skellet looks the old scumbaggy each way one for me. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if she wins. To be fair,
George, for you.
It's a tricky old race, but the highest rated in here is Spirited Style at 11-1, and the defeat of Swano in the listed race at Newmarket. They're back in July. I think reads very well. You forgive any horse getting beaten in soft ground in Germany there, and
cut very wide that day too.
Yeah, and like the last time I've only beat 3 lengths, but it's really not as bad as it reads. Like she's just probably given too much to do, to be honest, for me, to put my Peter Michael hat on with Mr. Buick. But I think she was given too much to do, to be honest. I think she's far too big a price here. It's not a strong selection, but I'd be inclined to throw a few quid each way at her at 11-1.
Yeah, I'm in agreement with you. I thought Buick did give her too much to do, and maybe it was just a case of trying to nurse her back for the season. It's interesting that William Buick is going to ride Victory Queen, who was the last time out winner over Reservoir, but that means Billy Lucknan gets on board. And look, obviously, I don't share the opinion of Peter Michael about Buick. He's a class act. To be fair, he keeps backing William Buick in races, and he keeps insisting, no, William Buick's a world-class jockey. He feels that there are sometimes Buick does things that don't make sense. In that case, I think he might actually be right. She was sent off 13-8 favourite the other day. Billy the Kid's on board. He's in fantastic form. Charlie Appleby has won this race before. I'll go with you to try and.
If I can add, Emmett, if I can just add something you just sort of just touched on there. The 54-day break off the back of her first ever away day to Germany, and then given quite a nice ride first time back, does imply to me that maybe a bit of travel sickness or something like that could have happened. We've no way of knowing really, but I'm sure someone can ask someone in Charlie Appleby's for us. But just that break off the back of a trip to Germany just says to me she either had a very hard race or a bit of travel sickness or something like that. Once you put that together with the ride she was given, I'm sure it wasn't just a bad ride. I'm sure there was kindness on the mind.
Yeah, they were probably having to work her back. And to be fair, she'd buried Silent Love at Haydock, if I remember correctly. Now, Silent Love was tenderly ridden that day, so maybe she was a horse that was coming through as well. But Charlie Appleby at Newmarket, it's the last race, it's a group race, and you're getting a double-figure price with Billy Lucknan on board. Thank you. We'll take that. And hopefully we'll shoot the lights out in the last race. Liam Firkin?
There were 2 on my shortlist. The first of which that caught my eye was Carmology for Carl Burke, obviously mentioned by the lads earlier in terms of his form. He's obviously done you guys a good turn over the course of the last couple of weeks. I think you just would start to get slightly concerned given the fact that from the 16 runs on turf, he has finished in the first 3 on 12 occasions, but majority of those are either as the bridesmaid or third place. And look at kind of 8-9-1 as an each way punt. That's not going to pay for anybody's takeaway on Friday evening just to see Carmology run into a place yet again. So I end up landing on Skellet, the same as the guys, obviously third and placed last day in that Group 3 at Sandown. And again, one of my stronger fences on Friday, definitely Skellet. I think that she'll go very close.
Ooh, I'm liking that a lot. Okay, we've got a race at York to talk about. Have we teased you enough? Have we made you wait enough? Should we just go for a little bit of jumps action? Just a little bit of jumps action. Because You're starting to get very excited about that jump season. You're really liking that Paul Ferguson podcast, and I think you're going to like the Tom Malone podcast a lot as well. We'll drop that on Saturday. I say that because the reason we're going to have to release it on Saturday is because we'll have the weekend preview out on Thursday into Friday onto Saturday, and of course this podcast is out as well, so we don't want to crowd everything too much. And I should preface this by saying that Tom Malone sounded pretty bullish about stick to the plan, so hopefully he's going to sound right. The point he makes is, well, the point I make to him is that David Maxwell's going around telling everybody who listened to him that Harry Durham has been telling him, "Oh, don't retire yet. Don't retire yet, David. You're making a terrible mistake. We've got this Queensberry boy lined up for the Persian War. You're going to win that." And when I said that to Tom Malone, he was like, "Yeah, that's grand." So I told the boys Stick to the Plan was going to win this race, and I'm pretty confident he will. He makes his stable debut for Ollie Murphy. Sean Bone has been booked to ride. He gets a first-time hood, and you can get 4-1 with 1xBet as we're recording. Adam Mills, is Tom Malone right to be confident, or is Queensberry boy going to bury this lot?
Well, the market's a little bit skewed. I know David Maxwell obviously, let slip or felt free to tell everyone that this horse has been lined up for it. But are we not forgetting this is David Maxwell? It's not like Martin Piper's let slip that they've laid one out for 12 months, is it? So I just feel like I can definitely see the improvement coming from Queensberry boy, but he's very short on social media hype. Neither of his wins particularly worked out that well. And he was 42 lengths behind Final Demand. I know it's Final Demand who's a grade 1 performer, but he was 42 lengths behind him at Budgestown. Just too short for me. I could sort of see the stick to the plan thing. £5 penalty to carry for that Galway win and the hood going on. Tom Malone is obviously a very good judge. And if they've lined it up and he knows he's going to win the Persian War, fair play. Sometimes this race is won by like what I would call a summer jumps horse that's got to the end of the season, got lots of experience and pinched it. Other times it's a genuine national hunt type. I think this is one of those type games. And for me, I like the Skelton's horse, Money Garrow. Won the bumper on this card 12 months ago. Dan Skelton could have gone absolutely anywhere to start his hurdles career. Could have picked up a nice, easy novice or maiden somewhere. And instead, they're rolling the dice and pitching straight into a grade 2, albeit one at the very start of the season. Won the bumper, as I said, was second to win Beneath by Wings at Ascot. I think I want to take a chance on Money Garrow because I think Money Garrow could make up into a really nice novice over this season. And the fact that Dan Skelton's prepared to throw him in really in the deep end when there are hundreds of other softer options is enough to sway me.
Andy Newton, who do you like?
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I mean, look, Queensberry boy is just way too short now after all the beaking off by Maxwell. So maybe he was hoping that someone would buy it before this race or something, and then God knows. But it's and look, the form's all there. And it's a course winner as well, National Hunt Flat Race winner here. So, and Harry Durham as well has got a fabulous strike rate, probably one of the best on offer over hurdles here, 36% strike rate. So, but at 5-4 in a race like this, I mean, I totally respect that Money Garrow, the Skelton horse. I don't think they've ever won this, but obviously Nichols has quite a few times. And, as we all know, Dan used to be there at Nichols, and he was probably responsible for a lot of those wins. So that is very, very interesting one. And I think even further down the betting, another trainer that has a good record in this is the Twist and Davis camp. And they last won it in 2014, I think, with Black Lion. But you go back even further, and they won it sort of in 2003, 4 and 5 as well. And that crack just could be interesting. First run for them, last seen running or winning actually in Cork. But, hasn't got a great deal to find with the favourite. It's rated only £1 lower. Has to give it £3, admittedly. So what's that, like £4 or something it's got to find. But at 14-1, got 8 runners in there, which is great as well. So as long as they'll stand their ground, there's plenty of each way value away from this favourite that could win, but is way too short. But yeah, crack looks to play for me. Yeah.
Okay, Fergal O'Brien has won this race twice in the last 10 years, and he's got Jack Hyde, who I know they really fancied for Aintree. And he comes into this race on the back of an impressive win, an easy win. Now, he was 7-1 on. He'd want to be winning that race. But you're getting 7-1 about him. And Johnny Burke rides. He's an intriguing one. What about you, George? Who do you like?
Yeah, like lads said, Queensberry boy's the wrong favourite for sure. I go as far as say I don't think he can win this. I think you've got Stick to the Plan's a listed winner at the end of the day and probably should be favourite. Got that one run in July, but essentially this is his first run of the season proper. Like presumably he's not been on the go since July. The only thing that would sway it slightly away from him for me is Gainsbourg had a run a couple of weeks ago, recording a career high RPR, and is £2 well in at the weights for Stick to the Plan. Like, I know it's not a lot. Stick to the Plan. If one of these is going to really improve and go on to be a proper top-notcher this year, it probably is Stick to the Plan. But I wonder, with the race fitness on his side, can Gainsbourg just do him this day? I'm not sure he'll be able to replicate it in the future, but I think he's probably the horse with the best prep for this race, and like the abilities on show. I think he's recorded RPRs north of 125 three times. That second, he obviously got well beat by Ethical Diamond at Punchdown in February, but beat the rest of them pretty well. And was the maiden hurdle win at Tremor. He got an RPR of 128 for that. I think the best Stick to the Plan's managed is 133, so he's a little in front of him. But I think race fitness might tell in this particular contest, and I'll be sticking with Gainsbourg.
10-1 with 1xbet for Gordon Elliott. Gordon's never won this race before, and he gets James Bone for the first time as well. That's a very, very interesting pick with 11 stone. Liam, for you?
Completely agree with regards to Queensbury Boy being at the head of the market. Stick to the Plan into my tracker when it was well mentioned his performance in a point-to-point before coming down. He was kind of flung at the back of the telly and made a kind of untold amount of lengths on the rest of the field before actually falling. So he went into my tracker. I was waiting for him to go up in trip and ignored his 22-1 price when he won the last day. So I feel that there is... not that I'm owed one. We've all been there. It's the nature of the game. But a 92, I think, is a very decent price. And I think obviously Queensbury Boy's just taken up too much of it, as you've already alluded to, because of the social media hype. So Stick to the Plan would be the one for me. Money Garrow, it would be interesting to see how he runs. I think just for people generally over the course of this season, that general ownership, I think they've got a couple of really nice horses that could potentially have targets further down the line. Country Mile going over fences. In my opinion, he looks like a replacement for Unexpected Party towards the Grand Annual. He's got some brilliant form at Cheltenham after smashing a horse of Gordon Elliott's by about 10 lengths ease down. And also Fortune de Mare ran the other day. He's been out nice and early. And obviously with the qualification, number of runs you need to qualify for these open handicaps these days, I think that's probably the reason they're out early. So Money Garrow could be another one. Not suggesting there's anything untoward, but just keep them on your radar. But yeah, stick to the plan for this in the Persian War, Emmet. Okay,
this is a cracking race. I'm really looking forward to it. We'll be building up to it on the day on TalkSport 2. So if you're out and about, make sure you join us. If you're just sitting by the radio or whatever it is you're doing, make sure you're tuned into Darryl Jacob himself on TalkSport 2. We'll be on the air from 1 p.m. with Racing Live, and we'll bring you live coverage of Chepstow and Newmarket and build up to that race for you as well. It's a cracker, and it's not the easiest one to call. So Liam's confident. Tom is very, very confident. I'm going with Tom. Stick to the plan. And Liam, first time headgear, Sean Bone, Ollie Murphy, but Gainsborough is really interesting. Jack Hyde's interesting. Best of luck to Harry Durham and the team with Queensbury Boy, and you've been given some interesting pointers from Adam and from Andy as well, for that matter. And speaking of interesting pointers, if you want a flying start to your betting with 1xBet Ireland, bet €10 now. For your first bet, they'll give you €30 in free bets. Simple as that. 18 plus only. Terms and conditions apply. You can visit 1xbetireland.ie to take advantage. 1xbet.ie, in fact, is just the easiest way to do it. And you'll be on the 1xBet Ireland website. I got a couple of races at Dundalk to talk about. We'll go back to York, though, very quickly for the Autumn Mile Handicap. Does anybody have a very confident line for the Autumn Mile Handicap at York? Andy Newton, you look like a man who's cracked this race wide open.
The Autumn, what one's that? Is that the 130?
Yeah.
Oh, look, the interesting one was one that I put up at the weekend called Dospen, which was actually a non-runner. I think it was running at, I don't know, it was Ascot or somewhere at the weekend, and then they pulled it out. It's a massive price again here. I think I spoke about it last week. Had form with Native Warrior, I think, tied in. It's bombed out a couple of times. They put in the blinkers on it. And it even had form tied in with Ombudsman as well, if you go back a little bit further, maybe last year. So that's out. So I don't know why they pulled it out last week. Maybe it's because they're coming here. Who knows? But it's a big price at Dosman.
And as well.
Yeah, and the other one that I had in it is actually a non-runner now. It was that Botanical, but I think they pulled that one out. So yeah, let's just have a little punt on that. Just interesting. They pulled it out the weekend. It's running in now. First time blinkers. Dossman.
We've talked quite a bit on this podcast about Knight Rider, and thankfully we jumped off the Knight Rider train long ago, but we're always fearful that the day would come when he would bounce back. But we never fooled ourselves into just continuing to back him. We just let him go and he'd shorten the betting. Why am I mentioning this? Because Nostrum has finally been given some respite by the handicapper. He's been dropped £5 to a mark of 95, having been beaten 12 lengths by Native Warrior the last day off a mark of 100. Off a mark of 95 and at York for David O'Mara. 33-1 might be just a little bit too big. Maybe this is the day. And if he was to go and bounce back, I'd feel sick. You'll hear the race live on TalkSport 2, 1:30, York, Nostrum, 33-1 with 1xBet. We'll take a swing. Adam Mills is not convinced.
Well, the trouble is, this is one of those things that I'll go, he's got absolutely no chance. Look at those form figures. And then it'll bolt up and you'll just retweet it at me for the next 6 months. So I'm going to keep the powder dry on Nostrum. I'll leave it at that. I don't really fancy
Small stakes. Extremely small stakes.
Adam, we could do a Nostrum audience double. Yeah?
No, there's no way I'm getting Nostrum in the winner's enclosure and then losing because that psycho decided to not turn up.
What price is Hitman for the King George again in it? I kind of like some form with Native Warrior. I like a horse in here called Thunder Roar, who ran absolutely no race at Ascot last time, but I think the draw was against him. Native Warrior was a really good winner on the day. The time before that, won pretty easily at Ayr, beat the favourite Northern Express by the best part of nearly 3 lengths. And I just look at that form and think, if he hadn't run at Ascot, there's no way he'd be twice the price of Northern Express. I think Thunder Roar's got enough form in the book at this time of year to make me think there's a definite case. And for that reason, I thought he shouldn't be 11-1. So it'll be a small each way on him.
And Adam, who was second in the race last year?
Who was second in what? Yeah, exactly. There you go. See?
Rock came second, yeah. But I think it's rated £14 higher. But yeah, interesting one, definitely.
George, for you?
Yeah, it's that time of the season, isn't it? It's just the same names again and again at this point. And of those names, I had Northern Express was on the short list, not obviously well treated for the horse that's been put at the top of the market. Whipcrackers are also light. I think he's effectively off £2 lower than when beaten ahead two starts back. And and equally lower than it was last time out. Bo Pedro's another one. He just doesn't win very often. I landed on Billy Joe in the end, was the main selection in this. Like he gets to run off the same marks when he was beaten 2 1/4 lengths last time. The 2nd, the 4th, the 5th and the 6th have all placed next time out off the same or higher marks. His only previous run at York was poor, which puts me off a bit, but it's a small sample size, isn't it? One run. I'll be inclined to give Billy Joe one more go. I'll be sick if Whipcracker beats him. I'm a little shy of £7 claimers in competitive handicaps like this, especially at a track like York. On the figures, he's the winner. But how much of that £7 are we actually getting here? How much are we losing to inexperience? It's very hard to judge. If there was one at a bigger price, there's Janice Journey down the bottom of the betting there. Only been out of the first 3 once in his last 10 starts. Ran well enough last time to think he's not stopping just yet and gets to go off the same mark here, back on a sounder surface. He has won on soft ground, but I think the pick of his form's been on better. So that would be, if someone fancy one, at a bit of a more fancy price.
Liam, have you got a fancy price?
I haven't. I've got a bit of I suppose it's not that much of a strange opinion because it would just essentially look like I'm following the markets, but it's all the old boys basically in here that I like the look of. Emmet, Northern Express, Bo Pedro, and La Trinidad, and the latter would be the main selection. Obviously got the course and distance success here. Is now back down to a mark of 92. He's performed and placed earlier this season off a higher mark. He'd probably be my main dart at this. But as George just alluded to, it is kind of same names and a little bit samey for these handicaps. Northern Express I've followed off a cliff and have to abandon at some point, so today is the day to do that. But yeah, La Trinidad would be my selection. I think available at a double figure price. Wouldn't put anybody off a few quid each way on him.
Don't feel too bad when Northern Express comes and wins at 4-1. It's 4-1. You're not getting your money back. You're better off to just jump off at this point.
Okay.
But you know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Sometimes it could be frustrating. Okay, that's a small stakes race. I think we're pretty much all in agreement with that. And you've got some interesting picks there. The least interesting was mine, but if Nostrum was to go and win, if he becomes the subject of a gamble and then goes and wins, projectile everywhere, peas and carrots all over the place. So it's just very small stakes, and then it's a 33-1 shot, 40-1 shot. It's a steak dinner if he goes in. Happy days. Friday Night Lights, Dundalk, baby, Fundalk. Couple of listed races for you. So obviously one had to be rescheduled from last week's madness. We've got the 5 Furlong Irish Stallion Farms EBF Legacy Stakes listed race. A number of interesting ones in this one. None more so than Kansas for Adam Mills. I'm pretty keen on Sirius A, but make the case for Kansas.
I just feel like I looked at this race and I thought this is going to set up perfectly for Kansas. Absolutely perfectly. 5 furlongs on the all-weather, speed favouring track, well drawn. Some people might point to the fact and say, well, he's been behind Jack the Bachelor and he's been behind Ippany McQueen this season. He has, but he gets a massive advantage being in 5 compared to being in 10 and 12. I'd much rather be in 5. Ronan Whedon on board. He was 5th in a Group 1 last time, but he wasn't being that far, 4 lengths. That's the best form on offer here. I think he's still improving. It's also noticeable that he's in the Group 3 in 2 weeks' time over the same course and distance. I wonder if the boys have decided Kansas is not going to be a Group 1 performer, so let's see if we can do a double on the all-weather with him. And I personally think he's not going to get a better opportunity to win this.
And his form may very well have been franked earlier in the day. Can't argue with that too much. Andy Newton?
No, I haven't got a firm opinion, really. I mean, Kansas should be the one. I mean, on the ratings and everything, it's well clear, isn't it? The only thing just to add, possibly, which you might touch on, is Ger Lyons has got a super duper record in this race and does actually run to that. How do you do it? And By the Lake. And By the Lake is actually a CD winner, course and distance winner, so it does have that in its locker. So just something to sort of bear in mind in this race, really, that they have a good record in it, that's all. But yeah, Kansas should be taking it, really. But I think the 2 Ger Lyons ones are drawn a bit higher, though, 9 and 11, which isn't probably ideal. But anyway. He
wasn't very strong in the betting last week. He wasn't weak or anything like that, but he's dropping in trip and he's dropping in class from a Group 3. He was only beaten the neck the last day. That was the first time he's really turned it around after a couple of disappointing performances, particularly in the listed race at Ascot. But Sirius A is interesting to me. He's coming out of stall 2, so he's pretty well drawn. Jack Mitchell comes back over for the ride. I like him. I was really taken with the performance the other day. And obviously he's got form with humidity and Title Roll from his debut. Did Title Roll win today? He was backed into 5-1 on.
Don't know.
We're broadcasting this, coming to you live from Final Furlong Podcast Studios. So Oisin Murphy was booked to ride him. It was his first run since that maiden. And did he win? Did he get duffed? Maybe he did. You're going to know this. Oh, he hasn't run yet. 5:40 at Kempton. Okay. So Title Roll will hopefully have boosted the form from that maiden run. And I think Sirius A has done enough to suggest that he can run a massive race here. The case has been strongly made, though, by both Adam and Andy for Kansas, and I don't disagree with it. George?
Yeah, no, I'm with you, Emmett. Kansas is the best horse here, but is it the drop in trip? I can't get my head round at all. Like the Dam won over 7.5. He's the same stallion cross Wootton Bassett out of a Galileo mare that's seen Puerto Rico improve out of all recognition going up in trip.
Yeah.
It might be that he's so much better than these that he gets away with a step down in trip. But I'd be inclined to take him on with the next highest rated, much like you, Emmett, with Sirius A. This horse, I think, will handle the step down in trip. I think there's at least 3 occasions. Kempton, Ascot and Newbury on debut, where he maybe looked like he didn't quite see it out. And I could see the step down in trip bring out some improvement. And a little bit of all-weather practice will stand in his stead. That's worth a couple of pounds at least. It's not a massively strong view, but I would be looking to take on Kansas here, and he seems the most obvious candidate to do it.
I completely agree with you. I agree with you. I respect Kansas a lot, but Sirius A's got the credentials. Liam, sway this. Are you with Kansas or are you with Sirius A?
I've got a different view into the race based on what Andy was saying about Joe Lyons' record in this race. And if you look back at Sir Alfie's record as a 2-year-old, he beat How Do You Do It, giving him half a stone and beaten by over a length on good ground. Now, I'm not suggesting anything, just purely pointing out what's occurred over the course of the last 2 weeks. But that horse has gone to Charles Burns. Billy Lee's jocked up on board. I'd love to know the statistics for how many horses Billy Lee has ridden for Charles Burns in the last decade. I imagine you can count them on one hand potentially. And given that he's got that record previously, has had a bit of a prep run at Fairy House, he was quite interesting. Sir Alfie is obviously the horse I'm referring to. So whatever happens with Sir Alfie and what price he is will be interesting. But yeah, I was just quite intrigued by that, and given the move and the fact that it's been so recent prior to this race.
Okay, that's an interesting one. I wasn't expecting ex-Joe Lyons now with Charles Burns angle in a listed race, but that's why you get Liam Firkin on the show. You want original takes, and Liam Firkin will give you original takes. The 7 o'clock is the second listed race on the card. It's over 7 furlongs, and we've got some of your old favourites. Andab, who we've become very familiar with, and he's got some pretty decent form to his name. Controlled, one of the very few geldings that Aidan O'Brien trains as a juvenile. Mission Central did it pretty impressively. He was in the Mission Central race. He was beaten a long way, but he improved significantly to go and win at Nace on his next start. Francesco Baldi, who was a good winner of the Convivial Maiden and was beaten subsequently in a listed race. He's in this race too. Fairy Oak for Michael Callahan. And you've got Looking for a Rainbow, most significantly, who Peter Michael tipped on his Telegram group when this race was supposed to be run a week ago. First time tongue tie for her. She was a massive price that day. I'm not so sure she's going to be quite as big a price for this one, but she's the one I'd be interested in. Adam, for you?
Fresco Baldi for me. I think going round a bend will really help. Won the Convivial Maiden at York. Doncaster just didn't suit. I could see Fresco Baldi just breaking out, getting a nice prominent position, and I think he'll gallop them into submission. Trainer and jockey won this last year at Right and True. It would be a win-only bet because I think he's got to be really prominent. I don't think he's the type to come from behind at Dundalk. But if he gets out on good terms, which he should from stall 4, I think he'll just be too strong for him.
I'm with Ronan Whelan on board. That means he's Aidan O'Brien's number 1 for sure. This is a race that Aidan O'Brien has won 3 times, including with horses who would go on to win the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf. Hit at a Bomb, who did us a massive favour back in 2015, defying a wide draw, and Mountain Bear was second in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf, behind Unquestionable, who then ended up with Richard Hannon and hasn't run for quite a while. Andy Newton, your thoughts on the second listed race on the card? You're on mute, son.
Sorry. Right, yeah, nothing totally concrete, but I'm actually with Adam with that Fresco Baldi, only because like the draw here is been a bit crazy, right? 7 of the last 10 have literally come from draw 4 or draw 3. Draw 4 or draw 5. Yeah, so Fresco Baldi's in draw 4, and we've got that 11A coming out of stall 5, and yeah, you know, bred for the all weather, and you know, like you say, Aidan's won this a couple of times, and he's won the last 2, isn't he? And 4 of the last 10. So yeah, happy to take that. Yeah, not being a great race for the favourites either, only 2 of the last 10. So you know, possibly Andab's going to go off favourite here, you would have thought, or Looking for a Rainbow, we'll see, but. Yeah, based on the draw, Fresco Baldi for me.
Now I know why you had the microphone on mute. Thanks for that.
Yeah, sorry.
And cheers for the sound effects in the background. George?
It might be a bit hard leading ahead here. I really like Andab as a horse. I think he's probably proved the most of any of these so far, which everyone who listens knows is how I play 2-year-old races, really. Is a horse that's proven at the level. This horse is proven at above that level. Certainly he's better than the listed horse. He might want a mile, maybe now, maybe next season. Like, he's staying on at the end of his races, and he's full brother to what was the horse called? His full brother was I think 3-4 time black type performer at a mile and a mile 1, Victoria Road. But I think he should just be too good for these, really, and especially if the Aidan O'Brien horse and maybe 1 or 2 others go out and go a good gallop. I think he should just be too tough for these. Like, he really digs in, and he fights for a horse with as many placings by his name as he has. He does try, and I would like to see him get his win here.
Okay, and Liam, Land the Plane.
I would have to defer to all of the lads, to be honest. I'd really struggle to find any sort of concrete opinion on these. I think George made a decent case for Andab. I'd just be blindly following him in. I don't have a massive opinion, so I bet that I'd probably be leaving alone from my own perspective. So rather than just talk nonsense, I'll admit defeat with this one.
Nothing wrong with talking nonsense. Plenty of people do it. All right. Let's get the best bets from the team. So for Friday's action, we'll be back with you tomorrow on Thursday to preview the best bets for Saturday, I should be saying. Let's see if Andy Newton can keep this incredible run going. No pressure on you on this show. It's all about Thursday's show for you, Andy. If you can keep those big naps coming. But are you going to be able to do it in this episode? Everyone's waiting, so they're going to have to wait a little bit longer. Adam Mills, who's your best bet of the weekend?
The best bet of the weekend is the each-way bet on Skellet in the last race at Newmarket.
I like it. All right, so Friday's best bet for Adam Mills is Skellet. George Gorman.
Have I got time for a quick bit of any other business? It's all ITV.
Absolutely.
Right, the at York, the 205, the EBF £100,000 final. Red Spells Danger is a big old price. He's very well treated at the weights, probably better than his mark, because he didn't seem to get home on softer ground the last day, which was his third run to get his mark. So I think he could be even better treated than he looks at the minute. There's in the handicap at 240 at York, I've got Castle Stewart, beaten half a length over course and distance on similar ground, 2 starts back on this mark, gets Warren Fentiman's £5 off his back this time, gives him a cracking chance. Both of those double figure prices. And then in the Veterans Chase at Chepstow, Lord of Cord has 3 wins on seasonal reappearance. 6 wins out of his 8 have come in September and October. One of the other ones was in December. It's his time of year. He ran decently off £4 higher, 3 starts back. Needs to put his best foot forward, but his last win was off this mark. I think he's about 6-1. As for Nap and next best, the Nap is Danger Man in the old Rowley Cup at Newmarket. And the next best will be Keynesborg in the Persian War.
I'm liking that a lot. Liam Firkin.
I think Skelet's a cracking bet, but given that Adam's already put him up, Amora Queen at 50-1 in the 257 on Friday at Newmarket, I think a cracking each way bet.
Let's go, Liam Firkin. Let's go, 50s. Follow that, Andy Newton.
It's not going to be. It's probably worth mentioning in the 410 at Newmarket, that Act of Kindness. It's probably going to be a short price, but Appleby, Eye Catcher, third on debut at Newmarket a couple of weeks ago. They love this race. I think him and Buick have won 5 of the last 9. So that's the Act of Kindness in the 410 at Newmarket. But look, I know Adam's put it up already, but Skellet was down as the Nap. It's here. It's all written down. So yeah, let's double up. If it loses, then we can go down together, pal. So but yeah, and also next best, I think that I'm going to go against George in that 330 at Newmarket with that Min had, only because I just think £13 better off with Danger Man, and we know it likes the track. Just a bit worried about Danger Man stepping back up and trip, but do respect that one as well. So yeah, Skellet main one, Min head next best.
Andy Newton had. Liam Firkin, George Gorman, Adam Mills swinging for the fences. I'm going to do some elaborate Lucky 63 involving Revival Power, Classic Curvy, Nostrum, Cosmic Year, Spirited Style, Composing, Stick to the Plan, Looking for a Rainbow Series A. I'll do multiple versions of that in some specific way and then hopefully shoot the lights out. We've come close with these over the last few weeks, so hopefully one of them will go in. And hey, if it doesn't, we'll do it all again Thursday for Saturday's racing. Andy Newton and George Gorman will be back for that. Peter Michael makes his glorious return to the podcast as well after another profitable weekend, and he'll announce the winner of the big competition too. If you haven't signed up to 1xBet yet, there's time to do it. 1xBet.ie. You'll get, if you bet €10, you get €30 in free bets. Sign up now. Terms and conditions apply. 18 plus. BeGambleAware.org. Liam, enjoy your stay in Germany. Thank you so much for joining us live from Stuttgart. What's your plan for the night?
Not a lot. I've got another podcast.
Would that be the Ginger Joe Sports Show by any chance?
It is indeed, yeah. So more racing chat. So it couldn't be any better, to be perfectly honest.
What's coming up in the next episode?
I think we're previewing obviously the jump season, and then we have Toby Jones involved over the course of the next couple of weeks, who sourced Sergino and Lalamba. So hopefully give us a bit of insight into that process. I believe he signed the deal for Sergino in a McDonald's somewhere in France. So he's got an interesting story to tell, hopefully.
Well, I mean, those deals have got to be signed somewhere, and why not at the finest eatery? McDonald's? It wasn't some 5-star restaurant somewhere. Okay. Man, okay. Hey, listen, it worked, so who cares? Adam Mills, hopefully you're back with us on Monday to break down the massive Group 1 action. But what's coming next on the At The Races website with TPD?
Good question. We'll do some proper data reviews for the jumps this week. We'll have a look at the Persian War. We'll have a look at some of the novice hurdles in Chepstow, and I believe we've got the Welsh champion hurdle as well. So we'll try and wedge that in. And then next week it is back into flat mode because we've got the Champions Day at Ascot to build up to.
It's only a week away. Speaking of Champions Day at Ascot, Paige Fuller makes her glorious return to the Final Furlong podcast for a Race IQ data special this day next week. So all of the key angles from Race IQ, the key talking points, hopefully to put you in a profitable position. Paige will have those for you Wednesday afternoon. The podcast should be out Wednesday evening on all good podcast apps and some rubbish ones as well. And of course, you can watch it here on YouTube as well. We've got an interview with Eve Johnson-Houghton. It's only about 10-15 minutes, but Eve is talking to us about the latest with Zavateri, the mighty Zavateri, who somehow is third favourite for a Group 1, despite the fact that he's unbeaten and he's the only Group 1 winner in the field. I don't know. Crazy. She's very happy about it, though. She'll talk to us from Tattersall Sales, where she's currently in the search, trying to find Zavateri 2.0. She'll give us the lowdown on the preparation for him, and we'll talk to friend of the show, Josh Apiafi, as well, about his new documentary, which is available to stream now on the Sky Sports website, on Now TV and the Sky Go app. So he'll talk to us more about that a little bit later on. And of course, the Thursday preview for Saturday's racing, Andy Newton, George Gorman, Peter Michael and myself tackling those races, and Tom Malone with his National Hunt special and a list of 10 horses to follow for the new season. In fact, it's more than that. He's got a big list of horses to follow for the new season. The 10 to follow is currently available from Paul Ferguson. 10 novice hurdlers for you to follow right now. It's already gone very well. Thank you very much for the interaction for that. And there's a £3 discount with an exclusive promo code for your copy of Paul Ferguson's excellent Jumpers to Follow. If you haven't bought it yet, don't buy it until you use that promo code. And apparently a lot of you did. Paul was saying yesterday that the sales are up, and a lot of those significant sales increase came from you using that discount code. So we really appreciate that. That means an awful lot to us, and it means a lot to Weatherby's as well. You can listen to Paul Ferguson's 10 novice hurdlers to follow, and there's some really, really juicy ones in there at big prices for Cheltenham Festival races. If you're that way inclined, you can listen to that now on all good podcast apps by searching Final Furlong Podcast, or watch it right here on YouTube. From Andy Newton, Adam Mills, George Gorman, Liam Firkin, and me, Emmet Kennedy, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. If you haven't already, smash a like button on this episode. It helps us with the algorithm. And hit the subscribe button so you never miss an episode. We'll talk to you again literally tomorrow on the Final Furlong Podcast. Look after yourself and each other. God bless.
Thanks for spending some time with us on the Final Furlong Podcast. We're independent media, so if you like what we do, hit like, share, and subscribe. It's free, it's quick, and it genuinely helps. And if you enjoyed this episode, there's plenty more where that came from. Don't miss out. Subscribe on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and all major platforms, and join us on the gravy train. The Final Furlong Podcast. Independent, unfiltered, and powered by you.